Hello and welcome back. We are on lesson 347, which says anger comes from judgment. Judgment is the weapon I use against myself to block miracles. Well, this is so divine because literally the first thing I said to Karina when I jumped on this call with her, I was like, I've been so angry. She's like, okay. I was like, I've never felt this angry. I felt like I was a volcano erupting. Like I could literally turn to the Incredible Hulk and set the world on fire. I felt that angry. Um, and Karina said, like, well, when you feel anger, sometimes, well, it's you burning through, the illusions, the distortions, the lies. And so, it says anger comes from judgment, but it's not for us to judge our anger, right? Anger has arisen for a reason, and it's likely that anger has arisen as a result of us believing in false illusions and stories and judging appearances, illusions, and forgetting the truth of who we really are. And, we've said a number of times throughout this course, you cannot serve two masters, right? So if I'm in anger, then I'm not in the truth of who I am. However, you can recognize that you are experiencing anger and it's not who you are. And once the anger passes, you can return back to the truth of who you are, just like a storm, right? Just because a storm comes doesn't mean the sun disappeared. The storm comes and goes, right? But what happens is when anger arises, we fall deeper into that spiral of anger because we judge the anger, which then even deepens us blocking ourselves against miracles. So, whatever arises, you have to trust in the arising of it, is so your awareness can see it for what it really is. It's not for us to be pulled in by it, it's for us to recognize that it's not us and allow it to pass. And when we let go of that judgment, that illusion, that story, whatever, we, you know, we we stop blocking ourselves from miracles, but it says here we stop attacking our own peace. And that's true. Like, if you can feel peace, why would you continue to feel anger? Right. But saying that, I noticed today that I kept going through these like motions of anger. And then I was like, calm. And then anger again. And then calm. But it's no different than a ship sailing on the sea, you know, hitting huge waves. And it's it's recognizing that those waves are just illusions, narratives, stories that I have been believing in, the fear, the guilt, the judgment, the separation. Um, and those waves feel so big because I've believed them for so long. Right. And so if it feels really turmoil, which it can, like today felt turmoil for me. However, I was in control of it. And that is liberating. For the first time in my life, I have been in control of my power, in my anger, in respect to I was witnessing it, and rather than shutting it down, judging it, or trying to push it away, I allowed it fully to come over me and wash over me. And then I was freed from it, right? Like it said, anger is a result of the judgment. That is an effect, right? Anger is an effect. It's not the cause, it's an effect. So you have to allow that to do its thing so then you can return back to the true essence of who you really are. That's all I have on this one.
Yeah, I just want to add that the other thing I said is that emotions always have a message, like they have a message to deliver us. So anger, so it's like, we talk in this Course in Miracles about like fear and judgment and like grievances and stuff like that. But when emotion arises, it also has a message. So when fear arises, it is telling you that you are in um I was going to say wrong thinking, but that's not even quite the best way of putting it. But it says that you've had a thought of separation. There was a thought or a belief or a story of separation. There was a story of lack. There was a story of being harmed or the ability to be harmed or be harmed. There's a story of grievance. And then the emotion of fear arises. The emotion of fear is always delivering you a message that you are in the stories of the ego and not in the knowing of the truth, period. So every emotion has a message. So anger, so none of the emotions are wrong. Anger is not wrong. Fear is not wrong. None of it's wrong. It's just what is its message? What is it's just a delivery system. What is it trying to deliver? It's like a little mailman. What what is its letter it has in its hand for you? And your job is to, and I've used the analogy of the house several times. Your job isn't to say, "Hey, come on in, sit down, have a cup of tea, stay a while, let me make you some lunch." Your job is to say, "Come in, take the message, and then, you can find your way out back through the back door." So it's meant to move through you, not stay and live there. So anger, according to A Course in Miracles here, is saying that the message being delivered is that you're in judgment. Somewhere you've been in judgment. It's not always of a person. You can be in judgment of yourself. You can be in judgment of circumstances. You can be in judgment of things in your reality. And sometimes it is a person. And on an even deeper level, beyond what it's saying here, when you're in judgment, um, it's usually based on a fear or or a hidden desire that you're not allowing yourself to acknowledge or be aware of. And guess why you wouldn't allow yourself to acknowledge or be aware of that desire? Because of fear. And what does fear always point to? You being in the false stories of the ego as opposed to the truth. So anger must come from judgment. Judgment is the weapon I use against myself to keep the miracle away from me. So anytime we judge, we are in fear, whether we realize it or not. Even if we're judging because of the hidden desire, again, I showed you how that traces back to fear. So whenever we're in judgment, we are in fear, which means that we are in the false stories of the ego, which means that we are not allowing the natural flow of miracles because miracles are meant to be natural. We're keeping miracles away from us. So judgment is the weapon that you are unconsciously using against yourself, and anger arises from judgment. So I hope that helps you see how it's all tied together. So today we get to see that, today we get to realize it, and today we get to drop it. We get to choose whenever, like we said before, it's like, yeah, maybe sometimes you'll unconsciously get down in this path, and anger comes in, and instead of saying, "Okay, thank you for the message, goodbye," you say, "Yeah, let's have a little party with anger for a while." And you have this little party with anger, and then you go, "Oh, what am I doing? I'm having a party with anger." Um, Again, you don't judge yourself for being with anger for longer than you needed to. Just go, "Oh, wow, I realized. Okay, thank you, anger. Bye." Thank you, anger, for the message. Goodbye. Um, so that's how it gets to be. So today, notice what you're doing, and don't be and also don't judge yourself if you feel like you've messed up or feel like you've allowed anger or any other emotion to stay longer than it needed. Just receive the message, receive the little delivery, the little letter. In my mind, it's a little like a cartoon letter with a little heart on it, a little envelope, with a little heart on it, sealing the little envelope closed. That's what it looks like here. And then move forward and choose truth, choose love, choose peace. Okay, the prayer. This one I had to rewrite because there was a lot of he, like, you know, he, not laughing. Anyway, I don't know what's going on, why I'm in such a weird mood. There was a lot of the word he in it. So this is the rewritten version. God, I find myself wanting what goes against my true will and resisting what is truly mine to have. Clear my mind, holy beloved. It is confused. But you have offered freedom, and I choose to receive your gift today. So I place all judgment in the hands of the inner guide you gave me to judge on my behalf. She sees what I see, yet knows the truth. She looks upon the pain and understands it is not real, and through her understanding, it is healed. She brings the miracles my dreaming mind would keep hidden from my awareness, Let her be the one who judges for me today. I do not know my will, but she knows it as your own, and she will speak for me and call your miracles to me. So notice how it says, and here we've used the in the prayers from the text, it says Jesus and your son and he. Um, and we switched it with like our inner guide, our inner self, that inner woman. But the point that I want to make also is it says, like we'll hand that judging, we'll let them judge, we'll let Jesus judge, we'll let our inner guide judge, we'll let God judge. But remember what the judgment is. The final judgment in what we said that means. What does the final judgment mean? It just means a dropping of the illusions. It just means a dropping of the stories. It just means judging what is actually truth and allowing what is not truth to fall away. That's all the judgment that we do from the human is always in the story of the ego. The bridge of judgment that we can hand over to that to our inner guide, to God, to Jesus, whatever, that is just a matter of burning up the stories of the ego, letting them fall away, letting them, how clouds burn up in really hot day on a really with the really strong light of the sun. It's just like that. That is the quote unquote judging that is being done from truth, like we talked about in the final, in what is the final judgment. And I think that's it for me.
I love that so much. And that Pierre. I was meant to say prayer. That's so funny. That prayer was so beautiful. That literally lit my whole body up. I felt like you were talking to me. I actually want you to read it again to me. We might have to do that off screen. But I literally was like, oh my goodness, because everything that you just said was how I felt and put so eloquently and divinely. And it's like I said, before Karina spoke, it's about not judging that, right? Not judging what arises. And I felt like that prayer was just a permission slip to allow it all, right? And know that it's not who you are. Um, right, that's it from us, and we will see you all tomorrow.